Hey gang, a super quick one here today. Thank you all for joining. This is going to be the daily ETF update. I used to do this on Twitter. A lot of people kept on asking, where is it? Well, I share it on Patreon every day, but on Twitter I can't because my account is hijacked. So I'm going to do a very quick rough and ready video every day just updating the numbers. So here we go. First of all, my Twitter is still hijacked. It's been 36 hours right now. You will see postings. We have a team reporting them, so please report if you see any scams. This is how you see a scam. Comments are turned off. Has a scam URL that you can test on any website. Go to website URL tester. And again, both of them have comments off, and it doesn't even sound like me. So that's how you spot a Twitter scam. So do not engage with any of the stuff. This is no such thing as a free lunch. So let's get back into the news today, and don't forget to subscribe as well. This is the raw numbers for the ETF, and I think it's much easier to visually assess exactly what's happening. But Blackrock basically now has about 3.124 billion in it. Fidelity 3 billion. 78,000 Bitcoin under management now at Blackrock. 74,500 at Fidelity. And Grayscale lost 137,000, and they all flew into the 9 new ETFs. This is the big spike that came day 19, which was yesterday. Remember, we report after the fact because that's how traditional finance works. It's very slow. But you can see the blue line here. That's Fidelity. Big spike up. They had their biggest day in 5 days since day 13 or day 14. It's nice to see them trouncing Blackrock. And there's some interesting things going on as well with Fidelity. The other thing I want to point out with this, Blackrock had a bit of a weak day. Bitcoin is pumping as we speak. It's 45,330. It's up approximately $1,000 for the day. Not bad. And it was up another 1,000 yesterday, which is awesome. Now, a couple of other things too. I just want to shout out some of the other, as I always say, winner takes most. You can see the other ones aren't doing too well, but they do add up in aggregation. And of course, the green line for Grayscale is flattening off, but there could be a bit of an increase in that because of Digital Group. DCG, I think it is. Anyway, the thing I want to point out today, which is new, Fidelity have been offering an asset allocation that includes 2% in Bitcoin in Canada. Okay, the Canadians are so far ahead, so shout out to all the Canadians up there. Hope the winter is not too severe. But what's interesting here, this is their all-in-one balanced ETF fund. And you can see it has a bunch of stuff. It's got Canadian equities. It's got US equities. They're both at 15% each. International, 15%. It's not very scientific. Canadian fixed income, 15%. Global fixed income, 29%. By the way, that's nearly 45% fixed income. I wouldn't do that in a million years, but that's just me. But what is interesting is 2% is allocated to Bitcoin. Now, I'm asking myself, what would happen if they did that in the US, which they probably will do, recommended portfolio. And you heard me talk about Aladdin as well, the Blackrock allocator, the AI system. That's going to allocate to Bitcoin real soon too. But let's play with some numbers. I took not 2% like up in Canada, but half of 1%, 1%, and 2%. And imagine that applies to the 4 trillion asset under management for Fidelity. And you can see the numbers here. That spend would be $20 billion if half a percent goes in, 40 billion with 1%, and 80 billion with 2%. And I use my IA multiplier of 21. And people always ask, where'd you get that? Well, I calculated that when Tesla bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and I watched the price. But Bitcoin's much harder right now. There's much more long-term holders. So that multiplier, if anything, needs to go up. Now, the impact on the market cap is 420 billion times 21, 20 times 21, etc. And the impact on Bitcoin price, if Fidelity does do this 2% allocation, but only a quarter adopt it, that's half 1%. That adds 28K to the Bitcoin price. If they add 1%, that's 56K added to the Bitcoin price, which would take us to 100K today. Remember, we're just talking Fidelity alone. If they add 2%, that would add 112,000 to the Bitcoin price on top of the price it is right now, taking us to 156. Remember, one firm, one country, 2% allocation, Bitcoin goes to at least $156,000. It's insane. This is why this thing is so fantastic to look at. Let's look at some more ETF numbers. We had a net ETF inflow on day 19 of 146 million. Good. I expect more today given the price action that we see and the volume on the ETFs. In addition, we have a new chart. Shout out to the development team. Wonderful work. ETF cumulative net of GBT selling is over 1.85 billion. Remember, a ton, nearly 7 billion flew out of Grayscale and into these new guys. And people are always confused, like, well, is that a net difference? Well, we don't know where the Grayscale money is going to. It could go into other assets. But either way, the 9 new ETFs are sucking in a ton of Bitcoin. And that red line is up and to the right. The other thing I want to point out from this here too as well, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positive days. And of course, the FTX selling was on day 6, day 5, day 7, and then it tailed off. But again, more money is coming, especially as the Bitcoin price rebounds. FOMO times will happen. The other data here is 8.05 billion of money, funds flew into these ETFs in 19 days. 8.05 billion in 19 days. Let's go back here for a second. Let's look at Fidelity allocating 0.5% of funds. That would be 20 billion. All right. We're not talking huge, gigantic amounts. Very, very small conservative amounts. That's 20 billion in a year. And we've already done 8.05 billion in 19 days. So again, very early days. A lot of money is still to come. Now, addition, deletion as well. You can see here we now have 179,000 Bitcoin in these funds. We are 11,000 Bitcoin shy of where MicroStrategy is with their 190,000. And that is the quick story. Quick and dirty. I have a big macro video coming up right after this in about 20 minutes. And I'm going to talk about the debt ticking time bomb and how it affects all of you and what you can do to protect yourselves. So thank you thank you all for coming. And I'll see you all real soon. Again, more quick and dirty stuff coming. Daily ETF update. Bye.